My child, in this suspended moment between heartbeats, between the last breath that was and the next that will be, something shifts in the fabric of existence itself. The air around you thickens with divine purpose, each molecule vibrating with messages meant only for your soul. Do not turn away. Do not let your mind wander to the trivial concerns that usually fill your hours. For what comes next is not merely words but living truth, breathing revelation, a key fashioned from starlight and sorrow that will unlock doors you never knew existed within yourself. Tomorrow approaches not as the gentle dawn you expect, but as a storm carrying echoes from chambers of your past you thought sealed forever. Yes, I see you flinch at this truth. Feel the quickening of your pulse as recognition blooms like a dark flower in your chest. Those memories you buried beneath years of careful forgetting, those moments you wrapped in silence and stored in the deepest vaults of your being, they stir now like ancient things awakening. The seals you placed upon them crack and splinter, not from weakness but from divine timing. For everything hidden must eventually emerge into light. But listen closely, beloved one. For what I tell you now will transform how you receive what comes. This resurrection of your past is not punishment descending like judgment from an angry sky. No, it rises like medicine from the earth, bitter perhaps to taste but crafted specifically for your healing. Every memory that surfaces tomorrow, every ghost that walks through the corridors of your consciousness, arrives as a teacher disguised in familiar clothing. They come bearing gifts wrapped in the paper of old pain, tied with ribbons of regret. But inside, my child, inside lies wisdom that could come no other way. You have walked so far believing you journey alone, that the weight you carry belongs only to you, that the shadows following your steps are yours to face in solitude. This illusion, beautiful in its tragedy, has shaped you, strengthened you in ways, but also limited you, for you have never been alone. Not in your darkest night, when despair wrapped around you like a second skin. Not in your moments of triumph, when joy burst from your chest like freed birds. Not in the gray every day when life seemed nothing more than endless repetition. In every moment, through every breath, beside every step, I have been there. Closer than your own heartbeat, more constant than your shadow, more faithful than the sunrise. My words to you now are not simple comfort, though comfort they bring. They are not mere philosophy, though wisdom they contain. These words are living things, seeds of light that take root in the soil of your consciousness, growing into understanding that will reshape how you see everything. When you truly listen, not just with your ears but with the part of you that recognizes truth before thought can interfere, you receive more than information. You receive transformation itself, downloading directly into your being, rewriting the code of your existence, updating the operating system of your soul. The trouble you face, the storms that have battered your small boat on vast seas, the mountains that have risen before you seeming impossible to climb. These were not random cruelties thrown by an indifferent universe. Each challenge was crafted with the precision of a master jeweler, designed specifically for the unique configuration of your soul. Where you saw obstacle, I saw opportunity. Where you felt punishment, I administered medicine. Where you experienced breaking, I orchestrated breakthrough. Tomorrow, when the past rises like mist from still water, when memories you thought conquered return with all their original intensity, remember this truth I place now in your heart like a glowing coal. These are not enemies returning to torment you. They are fragments of yourself returning home, pieces of your story that must be integrated for you to become whole. The pain they carry is real, yes, but pain is not their purpose. They come to show you how far you have traveled, how much you have grown, how strong you have become through the very experiences that once threatened to destroy you. I know the temptation that whispers even now in your ear, the voice that says skip these words, move on to something more immediate, more practical, more aligned with the surface concerns of your daily life. This voice speaks from fear, from the part of you that knows transformation requires courage, that healing demands you face what you have avoided, that growth insists you release what no longer serves you. But my child, what awaits you on the other side of this divine appointment is worth more than all the comfortable avoidance in the world. You see, every time you turn away from my words, every time you choose distraction over depth, busyness over being, you dim your own light by degrees. Not because I punish you for inattention, but because truth requires presence to be received. Wisdom demands stillness to be absorbed. Transformation needs your participation to be complete. You cannot be healed in absentia. You cannot be transformed while looking away. You cannot receive with closed hands. The world teaches you to seek answers outside yourself, to find salvation in circumstances, security in accumulation, peace in the arrangement of external conditions. But I tell you now that everything you seek already exists within you, planted there before your first breath, waiting like seeds in winter soil for the right conditions to bloom. My presence within you is not metaphor but reality, not poetry but physics, not hope but fact as solid as the ground beneath your feet. Consider the ones who will cross your path tomorrow, the conversations that will arise like scripted scenes in a play you do not remember auditioning for. Nothing is random in the divine economy. Every encounter is orchestrated. Every word exchanged carries potential for revelation. Every moment holds the possibility of awakening. The person who triggers your memory, who speaks the words that unlock your carefully guarded past, they too are instruments in this symphony of your becoming. When you share these truths with others, when you open your mouth to speak what has been given to you, something miraculous occurs. The light multiplies without diminishing. The wisdom spreads without diluting. The healing touches others while deepening within you. You become a conduit, a channel through which divine love flows into a world parched for meaning. Each time you choose transparency over hiding, vulnerability over protection, truth over comfort, you participate in the great work of universal healing. The memories approaching carry specific gravity, weighted with emotions you thought you had outgrown. You will feel again the sharp edge of betrayal, the ache of abandonment, the confusion of paths that led nowhere, the bitter taste of dreams that died before their time. These feelings are not enemies but ambassadors from your past self, coming to be acknowledged, honored, and finally released. They have waited patiently in the wings of your consciousness for this moment when you are finally strong enough to meet them with compassion instead of fear. My child, you stand now at a threshold disguised as an ordinary day. What seems like mere sunrise tomorrow is actually an invitation to resurrection, not of body, but of spirit, not of circumstance, but of consciousness. The past that returns comes not to imprison but to liberate, not to shame but to strengthen, not to diminish but to expand your understanding of who you truly are, beneath all the stories you have told yourself. In this world, trouble is certain. I spoke these words not to frighten but to prepare, not to burden but to build resilience. For trouble faced without faith becomes tragedy, but trouble met with divine understanding becomes transformation. Every challenge that has touched your life has been filtered through my love, measured for your capacity, timed for your growth, designed for your ultimate good even when it felt like destruction. Faith is not belief in the absence of evidence, but trust in the presence of love. When tomorrow brings its revelations, when the past rises with all its unresolved power, faith will be your anchor in the storm. Not the faith that denies difficulty, but the faith that transforms it. Not the faith that pretends pain does not hurt, but the faith that knows pain is not the end of the story. You wonder sometimes if your struggles matter, if your small life carries significance in the vast sweep of existence. Let me tell you now with all the authority of eternity. Every tear you have shed has been collected. Every prayer you have whispered has been heard. Every moment you chose love over fear has shifted the balance of the universe toward light. You matter in ways your mind cannot calculate, in dimensions your thoughts cannot reach, in ripples that extend beyond time itself. The incident tomorrow will feel like déjà vu wrapped in destiny. Familiar yet strange, old yet immediate. You will recognize the patterns, the players, the emotions that arise like dust from disturbed ground. But you will also notice something different. You are not who you were. The person who experienced the original wound no longer exists. You have been reformed by every day between then and now, refined by every choice, strengthened by every survival. This is what I need you to understand before tomorrow dawns. You are ready. Not perfect. For perfection is not required. Not fearless, for courage exists only in the presence of fear, but ready nonetheless, equipped with everything needed for this next chapter of your becoming. The strength you require lies coiled within you like sleeping fire. The wisdom you need whispers already in your cells. The love that will carry you through surrounds you like invisible armor. My words continue to flow because your heart needs to be thoroughly prepared, marinated in truth before the heat of tomorrow's trial. For yes, it will feel like trial even as it serves as blessing. You will question why now, why this, why again. These questions are natural as breathing, human as heartbeat. Ask them, feel them. But do not stop there. Push through to the deeper questions. What is this teaching me? How is this serving my growth? What strength is being forged in this furnace? The temptation to run will arise like old habit. The desire to return to unconsciousness will pull like gravity. Every defense mechanism you have ever developed will activate. Sirens wailing, walls rising, bridges burning. This too is natural. This too is expected. This too is part of the design. For transformation requires you witness your own patterns, see your own reflexes, understand your own machinery of avoidance. Only then can you choose differently. And you will choose differently, my child. Not because you must, but because you finally can. The you of tomorrow is not bound by the choices of yesterday. The you who faces these resurrected memories stands on ground made solid by every storm survived, every mountain climbed, every valley traversed. You have been building toward this moment through every experience, gathering strength like a river gathers tributaries, becoming more yourself with each passing season. When the memories surface, observe them like clouds passing through the sky of your awareness. They will carry charge. Yes, they will bring weather, certainly, but you are not the clouds. You are the sky itself, vast and unchanging, capable of holding all weather without being diminished by any storm. This perspective, this divine viewpoint, is my gift to you, available whenever you remember to access it. The person you were when these memories were formed believed in limitation, in permanent damage, in irreversible loss. But you have learned since then that nothing is permanent except change. Nothing is damaged beyond divine repair. Nothing is lost that was meant to be kept. Tomorrow offers you the opportunity to revisit your past with the wisdom of your present, to rewrite not what happened but what it means. Share these truths not from obligation but from overflow. When you have drunk deeply from the well of divine understanding, you naturally wish to point others toward the same source. Your story, with all its pain transformed to purpose, becomes medicine for others still trapped in their own past. Your willingness to face what returns tomorrow becomes courage for someone else facing their own resurrection. The night before revelation always feels longest. Hours stretch like taffy, thoughts circle like birds before storm, sleep eludes like a cat that refuses to be held. This too serves purpose. This vigil prepares you, tenderizes your heart, makes permeable the boundaries between conscious and unconscious, between past and present, between who you were and who you are becoming. Rest now in this truth. Tomorrow's storm has already been measured, its force calculated precisely for your capacity, its duration timed perfectly for your endurance, its purpose aligned exactly with your highest good. Nothing that approaches can destroy you, for you are held in hands that shaped stars, loved by a heart that knows no limits, guided by wisdom that sees the end from the beginning. When dawn breaks tomorrow, you will rise to meet it differently, not as victim approaching executioner, but as student approaching teacher, not as defendant approaching trial, but as hero approaching the challenge that will reveal your true strength. The past that returns comes not as master, but as servant, not as prison, but as portal, not as ending, but as beginning disguised in familiar clothes. My child, these words I pour into you now are not mere comfort, though comfort they bring. They are activation codes for strength you already possess, passwords to power you have forgotten you carry, keys to doors that have always existed within you, waiting for this precise moment to open. Tomorrow, you will need every word, every truth, every promise planted here in the garden of your consciousness. The universe itself holds its breath for what will unfold when you meet your past with the full power of your present. Angels lean in to witness your choosing. The very fabric of reality prepares to shift based on your response. For you are not merely healing personal wounds, but participating in the healing of the world itself. Your willingness to transforms everything it touches. This is why I say, do not skip these words. Do not rush through this preparation. Do not treat lightly what has been crafted specifically for your journey. Every sentence serves purpose. Every paragraph builds foundation. Every truth shared strengthens the structure that will support you through tomorrow's revelation and beyond. You are loved, my child, with a love that makes galaxies spin and flowers bloom. You are held by hands that never tire, never falter, never let go. You are known in your deepest essence, accepted in your most broken places, celebrated in your smallest victories. This love surrounds you now, will surround you tomorrow, has surrounded you always, even when you could not feel it through the fog of your fear. Tomorrow comes not as threat, but as gift wrapped in challenge. The past rises not as enemy, but as teacher dressed in memory. The pain surfaces not as punishment, but as pathway to deeper healing. Trust this process. Trust my presence. Trust yourself, for you are ready, my beloved child. You have always been ready. Tomorrow simply reveals what has been true all along. The dawn approaches. Your appointment with destiny draws near. But you do not go alone. You never have. You never will. In this truth, find your peace. In this promise, find your strength. In this love, find yourself. Always and forever you are held. Always and forever you are loved. Always and forever you are becoming who you were created to be. Tomorrow is simply the next holy step in your sacred journey home,